All right, this is your walkthrough for the second assignment, the finding volume gizmo. If you want the little introduction, you have to go watch Triple Beam because that's the one I started with. But basically, all I said was I'm going to be gone for the next 2 days, and these are videos to help you get caught up with any assignments you might be missing while Mr. Hernandez is here. So, volume, we talked about, is a measurement of how much space something takes up. So, we looked at this example of a football and a volleyball and how we would measure them. Right? A ruler wouldn't get the job done because it's not straight, right? How are you going to measure a circle with a ruler? And mass wouldn't work either because even if we weighed these, the weight wouldn't tell us a whole lot, right? A small rock can weigh more than a large feather. So the size isn't always determinant of the weight. So one of the most famous ways to measure volume is using a water in a graduated cylinder. And we call this technique water displacement. So what's really happening here, I'm going to scroll down and come back to this, is when we have water in a graduated cylinder and we add something to it, right? I added the rock, I dropped it into the water. Well, volume is how much space something takes up, right? So when I add this rock to the water, it takes up space. And the space it takes up, the water's got to get out of the way, right? So when the rock comes in, the water's got to move. It doesn't want to get it crushed underneath the rock. So the water moves upward. And it's that upward movement that's going to let us find the volume. And so I'll come back to that, but real quickly, I want to talk about something important here. Anytime you're doing a measurement of a liquid inside of a beaker, we have a scientific phenomena known as the meniscus. Same name as that thing in the back of your knee, right? The meniscus. And what the meniscus is this bowed, this bend, this U-shaped curve in the water. We won't get too much into why that occurs. Just know it has to do with the sticky properties of water. I know water doesn't seem like it's sticky, but it is just a little bit. And so when you're using a graduated cylinder, we always want to measure from the bottom of the meniscus. So if I was trying to measure a cylinder to 50 milliliters, which is exactly what you'll have to do for your assignment, this would be incorrect. Even though the water is touching at 50, notice the meniscus is far below. So this on the right would be a correct measurement to 50 milliliters. Yeah, the water right here is above, the water right here is above, but here it's dead on. This is where we always want to look, dead in the center of the meniscus. Okay? And so what you're going to do for this assignment is do a couple water displacement measurements. You're going to need to hop over to this, the measuring volume gizmo. This gizmo is a little touchier, a little more complicated than the last one, but shouldn't be too bad. Notice what I did there. You can pull anything from the shelf and put it back on the shelf. There are 3 different graduated cylinders, 25 milliliters, 50 milliliters, 100 milliliters. So notice on the assignment, the first 3 questions say, attach a screenshot of the following volume. A 25 milliliter graduated cylinder filled to 21 milliliters. The next one asks you to use the 50, and the next one asks you to use the 100. Right? I specifically put numbers there that you couldn't achieve in the other ones. But see how this one says to ask for 37 and a 50? So if you give me 37 and the 100, I'll still take it, but I'm not going to be happy about it, right? I want it in the 50, so I want it in this specific one. Pay attention to which cylinder it asks you to use, okay? So after those 3 measurements, actually, let me show you just real quick how you would do one of those. Let's say we're going to do 50. It's asking for 37. I'm going to do 27, just so we can not give away the answer completely. How you're going to fill these? Right here. If you just hold it, it feels very slow. If you put it all the way up, it feels very fast. So if you go too far, you're going to have to dump it, right? So I went too far. I'm going to have to dump it. So kind of just, you can go quick in the beginning, but as you start getting closer and closer to 20 where you're trying to go, right, I'm going to slow down now. Piece of advice, you can grab this magnifying glass and bring it over here to help you out, right? So I'm trying to get to 27. So I'm going to go a little bit further, right? This would be 25 would be this black line right here. Hold on when I get there. So right about there would be 25, right? This is 20, this is 30, so this is 25. So for 27, I got to go 2 beyond 25, right? So this would be 26, right about there. And 27 is going to be right about there, right? 20, 25, 26, 27. Okay. Here's the thing about the magnifying glass. It only works once you reach it. So notice I put it here and I'm like, what the heck? Why isn't it zooming in? I'm trying to get to 27. Why isn't it zooming in? But watch what happens when the water reaches it. When the water reaches, it'll kick in. Okay? So if you're wondering why the magnifying glass isn't working, that's probably why. Probably because the water's not there. Second part of this assignment asks you to find the volume of 3 different objects: the rock, the metal ball, and the marble. You do not have to do this, whatever this is, the glass brick. We're not going to do that one. Make sure, again, you pay attention to what cylinder you use, because this program is touchy on the fact that if I tried to put this big metal ball inside of this, not going to go in, right? It's only going to go in if you use the right cylinder. Oh, can you not do the metal ball either? I'm going to have to get rid of the metal ball because you can't do that one either. So I only want the rock and the marble then, because this one, I don't like that. So I'm only gonna do the rock and the marble, okay? So what you'll do, you'll take your cylinder. Can I drop the rock in this one? Too small. Yep, too small. So let's go for the 100. Drop the rock in. Nice. Okay, so we don't want to drop the rock in yet. How do we do water displacement? First, very first step is to fill the beaker enough to where it'll completely cover the rock, and whatever number you decide to stop on, you can pick whatever number you want. You just have to remember it. I like to pick a nice, easy number to remember. I'm going to go with 50 because 50 is just easy for me to remember, right? So I'm going to get to 50. Almost there. I like to kind of start clicking when I get this close. Oh, right, 50. 50 milliliters. That is the volume of the water in this cylinder. Now I'm going to add the rock. Notice what happened. It moved up, right? The water displaced upward. So, am I done? Right? 50, between 50 and 60, pay attention to that. So these are twos, right? 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60. Make sure you watch that. I'll have to change that too because I said 37, huh? And I need to do a whole number, right? I'll change that to 38. So, what's next? 50, 52, 54, 56. So this is just short of 58. So did I get my answer? Rock, 58 milliliters? No, because 58, right, I know it's a little bit shorter than 58, but we're just going to call it 58. 58 is the volume of the rock and the water. Remember, we started at 50. So how much did this really go up? We started at 50. So 2, 4, 6, just about roughly 8, right? I might have filled it a little bit low, and that's why I didn't make it all the way to the 8. Make sure you don't make that mistake. The rock and the water, you got to separate the two, right? You got to remember to subtract whatever you originally started with. That's why I like 50, because it's a nice, easy number to remember, right? Had you picked 36, it'd be a lot harder, right? So 58 minus 50, the volume of my rock is 8 cubic milliliters, all right? 8 milliliters. Sorry if you missed that, the radio kicked in. So that's how you're going to do this. I just did one for you. Shoot, I'm too nice a teacher. So all you really got to do now is the marble, right? Because I told you I'm going to get rid of the metal ball. So then you got to do these threes too. Screenshots of these cylinders with this amount of water. I'm going to change this one to 38, and I'm going to get rid of the metal ball.